It was pretty good, to be honest.
Oh my god, bro.
You were
How
paid by
did
EA, weren't
to
you?
make this video?
No, I just genuinely like the game. I don't think I've ever played a game like Anthem. Most of that statement is due to the fluidity of the movement, the verticality of the map, and just the awesome feeling of combat. Anthem delivered on a lot of what people were expecting from it, but it does lack in a few areas, and I'm going to address both sides. If you played it, I highly encourage you to participate in the discussion down below in the comments, or if you aren't in my Discord, I highly encourage you to join my Discord and talk about it in the discussion channel underneath Anthem, underneath the Anthem category. I'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts on the VIP demo, and if you're planning on playing the open demo next weekend, I highly encourage you to do the exact same thing. Preemptively join, and once you're actually in the game, and once you're ready to play, and once you're actually playing, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions of your playthrough come next weekend. So the first thing I want to point out are the goods that I saw. There were a few goods, and I'm going to highlight the three most important things to me that I noticed while playing the game. The first good I noticed was the flight. Oh my goodness, the flight felt so good. If you've ever wanted an Iron Man game, like a true Iron Man game, this would be the closest thing you can get. Honestly, it feels great just flying around the open world, and as I said, the verticality of the map just adds to that. Honestly, they did an amazing job building up this map and making it so that it works really well with your javelins. So, I mean, the flight, hands down, was fantastic. It felt really great, even on mouse and keyboard. In the beginning, there was a kind of a steep learning curve, and there was some mouse acceleration stuff that was going on, but apparently, I'll leave this link in the description, but there was a Reddit post made by Ben Irving, and he actually talked about some of the issues that were seen during this demo, and one of them was mouse acceleration. For some reason, they don't have an option to toggle mouse acceleration on and off. I don't really know why, but in this build that was in the VIP demo, it was automatically on and you could not turn it off. So that was a pretty big issue. But after playing around with it for a bit, I actually got used to it, and now I feel great whenever I fly. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the combat. Now, with combat, I really want to focus on the abilities because, honestly, the guns had some issues here and there, and it's mostly with sound design. So some guns would sound great and some guns wouldn't. But with abilities, for the most part, all of the abilities felt really good. As in, the ults, they felt amazing, and the ability to change up your just regular abilities, your 1, 2, 3, and 4 if you want to call them, or 1, 2, and 3 if you want to call them that, the ability to change them up just like Diablo is an amazing feature, and it allows you to have a lot of customization in terms of what you want your javelin to play like and what kind of playstyle you want to have. You can have a little bit more of a support side, or you can be a little bit more damage like, and you know, there's a couple of trade-offs here and there. And every one of the things that you equip, whether it's an ability or it's a weapon, they have certain inscriptions on them that allow them to change something about you. It increases your or decreases your shield recharge rate, for example. So I think that the combat was very fleshed out and it was very thought through. It is a very good experience, and I think it's something that everyone should try. The next thing I want to touch on, which I'm sure you've heard a ton about, is the customization. Oh my goodness, if you've ever played Warframe and you love that customization system, you are going to die over this customization system. This customization system takes Warframe's concept and it ups it by quite a bit. So what you can do is you can change your color, obviously, and there are different sections of the armor you can see here. There are different sections of the armor that you can actually modify and you can change the color of. But on top of that, you could actually change the material. So you can change the material and the color of the different sections of the armor, and it allows you to have some crazy customization, and it just makes it super personal. It just makes your javelin feel super personal. And on top of that, you can choose literally any color within the RGB spectrum, which means you could choose the vast number of, what, 16 million colors or something like that that are in the RGB spectrum. So you can literally go crazy with customization. The last thing I want to mention under this is the microtransactions. So this is going to be the only spot where microtransactions are in the game. So what you can do is in the future, you'll be able to purchase those like little purple triangle things that you see on the bottom left. They're called shards. You could go ahead and purchase those with real money, but otherwise you can get any cosmetic in the store with coin, and coin you actually earn in game by doing challenges and also by just having your friends play hours, basically. As you rank up your alliance, that's basically how you and your friends get coin, so keep that in mind. So that is something that I think they put a lot of love and time into, and I really appreciate them for doing that. That was something that I honestly was really excited for, and it did not disappoint. That is something that I can see myself getting lost in for hours, and I think you guys will see that too. So the next point I want to touch on are strongholds. So strongholds are actually kind of the end game light, if that makes sense. It's very similar to dungeons, but apparently there's going to be something that's very more similar to dungeons after the game is actually released. They're going to release an update, and it's going to have this like super end game content that is more difficult than strongholds. But strongholds are supposed to be quote-unquote endgame content that you can do, where they're kind of like dungeons that you go into with your friends, and you have these progression stages, and you get a chest here, you get a chest there, and then you get an ending boss. You beat that boss, and then voila, you finish the mission. So that's kind of how this thing works, and it actually gives you a fair bit of difficulty, especially if you're playing this on hard. I mean, there were definitely times where I got overrun and I died like multiple times within that stronghold. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like when Grandmaster comes out. 1, 2, and 3. Those are probably going to be crazy. So the people who are looking for really difficult content, Anthem's the place to go, because I mean, it'll definitely be difficult. So now I want to get into what I found to not be so good. Now, I'm not actually going to go into all the technical issues, as in the servers, being kind of crappy in the very beginning of the demo, and the loading screen, the infinite loading screen issues, and some of the minor bugs that people have been spotting here and there. Those two bugs weren't minor, by the way. Those two were very major bugs. Those are major issues. But they patched them, except for the loading screen thing. I think they're still working on that. But they patched the issue of people not being able to log in. They patched the issue of people not having their codes redeemed for the most part. And if you haven't gotten that fixed already, I believe they told people to just message them and they'll get it sorted. So I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. I'm going to talk about the stuff that's like actually in the game, the stuff that like probably can't be fixed, although it might be able to be patched, as in after the game is released they can update the game and make the game better by fixing these. I wouldn't even call it fixing, by changing these things. But that's the kind of stuff I'm going to talk about in this section. So first and foremost, if any of you played on PC, if any of you people who play the VIP demo on PC, you know how frustrating the swimming was. Oh my goodness. Wow. Mouse and keyboard for swimming. I was able to get a hang of flying fairly quickly. It wasn't that bad, but swimming, dude, that thing feels so crappy. It feels so floaty and really weird, and like you would move your mouse just like an inch and for some reason the javelin would like jet off to the side. It's like really not good. I can't even sugarcoat it. It just feels horrible. They said they're going to be looking at this. They said that they realize that it doesn't feel good. They realize it now, and they're going to be working on it. The next thing I actually want to talk about is the UI for PC. The UI might be great for console, but for PC it's not really that great. The main issue with the UI for PC is that there are certain things that are layered on top of each other that really shouldn't be for PC. Like, you should just be able to click and it instantly brings you to where it is, but the problem with this UI is it's so geared towards consoles that you can't like just click into the menu if you're able to see it. I don't really know how else to describe it, but those of you who play the demo on PC, you understand what I'm talking about. And also, if you're going to be playing it on PC next weekend, you will understand what I'm talking about when you get the demo in your hands. It's not that the UI is bad, it's just it feels a little bit clunky for PC. It's not my cup of tea, and it didn't really serve the purpose that it should have, in my opinion. So the last negative that I want to touch on, and I mean there's a couple more here and there, but these are my like key ones. These are the ones that are the most important. Fort Tarsus. Oh boy. Okay, so it's not that Fort Tarsus was bad. The character development and stuff like that, I didn't touch that in the good section, but I actually really enjoyed the story quest. I didn't want to touch on that in this video because I wanted people to experience that quest for themselves, but the character development was fantastic. I really enjoyed that quest, and I really enjoyed just talking to the different like central characters that I can talk to in Fort Tarsus. I thought it was very good, and I feel like the dialogue was very solid. So that gives me hope for the story. But what I don't like is that, one, you can't run in Fort Tarsus, and Fort Tarsus is kind of large. So the fact that you can't run, or at least increase your speed by a little bit, is really annoying. Like, it's actually frustrating, especially if you're just trying to get to, get to the forge or something, or if you're just trying to get to your javelin so you can get out into the world. You have to go from, the starting area where you start off in Fort Tarsus, and you have to walk for God knows how long through like 2 different sections of Fort Tarsus in order to get to the main square, and then that's where you're able to get into your javelin. It's just like, it's a small like nitpicky thing, but honestly, once you're in the game, it's really annoying. The next thing I want to mention about Fort Tarsus is the characters that are there. Not the main characters, not the main focal story characters, or the the side characters or anything. I'm talking about just the crowds, right? They didn't. I don't really know how they skipped out on this, but it does not look good. When I say that, I mean the character models look great. What doesn't look good is, one, when people talk, sometimes they look dead. Some of the central story characters, they look fine, but I'm talking about like just the regular crowds. Sometimes when you pass by a character in the crowd, they turn and talk to you, or they're like engaged in a conversation. And that's a very rare thing, by the way, and I'll get into that in a second. But they'll be engaged in a conversation, and you look at them, and they're like looking at the ground, and they're not like, they're blinking at a very weird rate. Their eyes aren't twitching or anything like that, so there's no detail in like the eye or the eyes or anything like that. And like just the way that their mouth is moving doesn't really match what they're saying. It does, but like it looks like it was developed in like 2012. You know what I mean? I mean, technically the game it started in 2012, but you know what I mean. Like, it definitely should be better. They should have upgraded it at least at this point. To add on top of that, the characters actually aren't talking. The characters themselves talking to each other, that's not what creates the ambient sound in the game. They just have a generic chatting, or chatter, or like audience chatter sound effect running in the background. I don't like that at all. They could have done a lot better. That's definitely one thing, and it actually does hurt immersion when you walk up to a person and they're making these weird movements and they're not saying anything. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Guys? You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't look good. So, I don't know. That's one of my major issues with Anthem right now. The area of Fort Tarsus, the side characters just take you out of the immersion. It's not good, and they really need to fix that. Now, if anybody else took place in the VIP demo, I would love to hear what your opinions are on what you experienced. Please let me know down in the comments or in my Discord, as I mentioned before. I would love to hear from you, and it's great to, just let other people know what the place is going to be like, or what the game is going to be like. Those of you who have not experienced the game, I highly recommend you playing the open demo next weekend. It is a phenomenal experience. I'm not even lying. It may not be for everyone. It may not be for everyone. I will tell you that right now. But if it is a game that you are even slightly interested in, I highly recommend you go and play it next weekend, because it will not disappoint you. This game is something that I believe everyone should experience, and BioWare put a lot of love and work into this game, and I think it should be recognized. Regardless of it being published by EA and, you know, all of the stuff that we've seen from EA in the past, BioWare has created a very solid and very good game, and I think that people should start realizing that. Yes, there are issues, but this can be a really great game as long as you give BioWare the chance to make it that way. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'm always on there. I'm always posting stuff on there. And if you aren't in my Discord, make sure you join my Discord. My Discord is filled with people who love games like this, mostly Warframe people, but we're starting to get some more Anthem people in there. So if you are coming into Anthem and you're really excited about the game, I'd love to see you come into the Discord and go ahead and engage with my community. If you aren't already, please go ahead and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And make sure you hit that bell notification thing in order to get notified whenever I post a video. I post videos kind of sparingly, but that's because I like to engage in comments. So when I get a lot of comments on videos, I like to respond to a lot of them. For example, my last video, at least half of the comments, probably, are from me. So I like to engage in conversations, and that's kind of the reason why I space out these videos like this. But if you are looking for content from me, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming there a lot more often now. I got some stuff set up in my studio so I can, you know, stream basically whenever I want now. So I'll be streaming a lot more on Twitch, so make sure you go ahead and follow me there. As I said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next video.
Hang up the hush of the other phone. Sure, you feel